On February 12th, we recognize the birthday of Abraham Lincoln, a name deeply ingrained in American history, and here in Nebraska, the individual whose name was bestowed upon the capital city in 1869. Remembered for myriad reasons, much has been documented about him, with tales and facts widely known. However, what if the history we've learned about Lincoln is merely a carefully crafted veneer? As Lincoln stands as the state capital, a tribute to his legacy, might there be more layers to this narrative yet to be uncovered? In this alternate history, we delve into a narrative where Lincoln's rise from a log cabin in the dense, untamed forests of Kentucky was not merely by chance, but under the guidance of outside influences. This influence, with roots deep in the soil of America since its inception, had ambitious plans of their own and a need for characters to fill roles in their schemes. Here, we explore the possibility that Lincoln was groomed, his path to the presidency orchestrated not for the preservation of the Union, but as a means to an end far more complex and sinister. As you view, consider if the popular tales of Lincoln's life might mask a hidden truth. Could the man who led during America's darkest hours have been a pawn in a game played across centuries? Only you, the viewer, can judge if the history of Abraham Lincoln is as straightforward as it seems, or if there lurks a deeper, more troubling narrative beneath the surface of what we've been taught. In the heart of the dense, untamed forests of Kentucky, where young Abraham Lincoln spent his formative years in a simple log cabin, there existed an unseen force, a secret society known only as the Arcane Order. This clandestine group, with roots tracing back to the earliest days of American settlement, had one overarching goal: to reshape the world according to their vision of global unity under their rule. Abraham, or Abe, as he was known among his kin, was identified by the Arcane Order scouts as a potential vessel for their grand design. His innate intelligence, moral compass, and the humble life he led made him the perfect candidate to be molded into a leader who would unknowingly serve their cause. From a young age, Abe was subtly influenced. Books on law, philosophy, and rhetoric found their way into his hands, not by chance, but by design. Mysterious benefactors, whom he never met, paid for his education through intermediaries. Every step of his life, from his law studies to his political career, was carefully orchestrated by the Arcane Order. His rise in Illinois politics was no accident. Key figures within the society positioned themselves as mentors, guiding him through the Lincoln-Douglas debates, ensuring his name became synonymous with the fight against the expansion of slavery. Yet, the real aim was to sow the seeds of division. Elected president in 1860, Lincoln's administration was under the watchful eyes of the Arcane Order. His speeches, policies, and even his wife, Mary Todd, who was unknowingly part of this grand scheme due to her family's connections, were all part of the manipulation. The order knew that to achieve their vision, the Union must first be torn apart. The Civil War was not merely a conflict over slavery or states' rights. It was the first phase of the Arcane Order's plan. The Emancipation Proclamation was their masterstroke, not just to free slaves, but to transform them into the first generation of an internal army, loyal to an ideology that would outlive Lincoln himself. Post-war, as Reconstruction began, the order ensured that the newly freed slaves were educated in schools they secretly funded, instilling ideas of revolution and disruption. Over generations, this army evolved not through overt violence, but through societal influence, civil rights movements, and eventually, by penetrating every aspect of American life from politics to education. The order's influence was subtle yet pervasive. They funded think tanks, manipulated elections, and influenced cultural shifts, always under the guise of progress and equality. Each societal disruption, whether it was civil unrest or economic downturns, was part of their strategy to destabilize the Union from within, making it easier for them to control or even topple if necessary. By the 21st century, the order's presence was felt in every major decision, policy, and conflict within the United States. Their long-term plan was nearing fruition, with the country increasingly divided on racial, economic, and political lines. All this time, the legacy of Lincoln was revered, but the true architects of his path remained hidden in shadows. However, a small group of historians and activists stumbled upon ancient records and correspondences revealing the order's influence over Lincoln and the nation's history. This discovery sparked a counter-movement, an awakening to the manipulation that had been at play for centuries. With this knowledge, a coalition formed, determined to dismantle the order's influence, to truly unite the nation by acknowledging and understanding its manipulated past. They worked to educate the public, to reveal the truth, and to heal the divisions sown by the Arcane Order. In this fictional narrative, the story doesn't end with a revelation or the fall of the Arcane Order, but with a new beginning where the United States, aware of its history and the forces that shaped it, begins to rebuild a union based on genuine understanding, unity, and vigilance against those who would seek to divide it for their own ends.